Good afternoon and happy Thursday, everyone. It is Scott Wohlers with River Place Capital. It's Thursday, January the 15th. I want to take just a brief minute to discuss what equity markets did last week, as it was a very positive week in markets as we got the year off to a very great start, as we talked about the July indicator last week that did end positive after the close of the day Thursday. So we did get that positive July indicator, but the S&P 500 was up 1.57%. The mid cap index was up 3.3%, and the small caps as measured by the S&P 600 were up the most, up 4.2% on the week. And it's not surprising to see some of these small names outperforming the large names in the large cap index, as they have underperformed significantly over the last couple of years. And so you're naturally going to see some catch-up trades as money's going from where it's expensive to where it's cheap. And so you can see some of that rotation moving out of those high growth names. You can see some of the rotation out of the former leadership of the market into these names, and that's where you're seeing the broadening out. And so if you look at it year to date, the equal weight S&P 500 is actually outperforming the market cap weight, and we expect that to could potentially be a durable trend throughout the year as long as the economy continues to hold up and do exactly what it is doing currently, and that is remaining very resilient. We've gotten great economic data this week. Inflation has come in, while it's still above the 2% target, is not anywhere higher than expectations. So inflation is not running out of control, which is good. It's managed. And so you have that going on this week with CPI and PPI coming in line with expectations. You got jobless claims this morning less than expectations and less than they have been, weekly jobless claims. So employment is holding up, which is very, very good to keep the market and the economy holding up moving forward. So expect the broadening to continue as long as the economy is holding up. So how can we say that with evidence that we see that happening? Well, we've gotten big bank earnings this week, and what's important about that is they speak specifically on what they see on the health of the consumer. They are the big credit card holders. They're the big balance of the consumer balance sheets of bank balances, and they can see and give us an insight into what's really going on underneath the curtain. And they aren't going to give you specifics on overall, but they'll give you the overall outlook, and it remains very, very strong, and the consumer remains very resilient, which should lead to allow earnings expansion and multiples to continue in the equity markets. So with that being said, what we can see moving forward is an opportunity for a more broad-based participatory market. But what we aren't seeing right now is actual leadership moving the market higher. Money flows remain positive. AI was leadership, but we don't see what it is moving forward. So if you see anything coming in the horizon, when there is no leadership and we have a void of leadership, you can see in the horizon some opportunity for volatility to creep in the marketplace. You saw some of that at the beginning of the week with some political uncertainty. And so as this goes through the year, we're also in a midterm election year. Expect there to be some political volatility that's going to, on the macro level, impact the equity markets. But the underlying data remains very strong, and what we're seeing from these reports and these earnings reports are record earnings from these banks, and that the consumer remains very strong and resilient. So if you have questions about how this impacts you, or how do you participate in the broadening out of the market, and how do you position, because we are still close to those all-time highs, and it's like, I've missed the rally, is it too late? Call us. We'd love the opportunity to explain how to navigate your way through that, and that there is potentially still some more upside from here, and just how to participate in that. So as always, you can give us a call at 904-346-3460, or as always, check us out online at www.riverplacecapital.com. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your week. Thanks so much for watching.